One or two points of the morning class. Waking is the cause and dream is the effect. Dream is the result of waking state for only the dreamer. Waking state objects are not, the question is put by the opponent, waking state objects are not unreal since it seems to be steady. He says the dream objects are fickle, but he says that the waking objects are steady, so they are not unreal. For those who are devoid of discrimination, for them only they seems to be real. Since birth is not established, everything is unborn. Unreal cannot take birth from real in any way whatsoever. You said, now again is putting the question. You said, dream is the product of waking state. In waking, deeply impressed objects, though seeing they are unreal things, but the same things he sees in the dream. What he says, in waking, deeply impressed by seeing the objects, though they are unreal, those very things he sees in the dream. And the dream objects are already unreal, that we have explained. One does not see them when he awake. Why the dream objects are considered as unreal? He says, when we wake up, they are not there. And previously also I told that what we see in the dream, those things are not real in waking state. But at times, the dream objects or what is seen in the dream, it indicates the relative state. It gives some indication of relative state, but the dream is not real. Or the things that which are seen in the dream are not real. That we know well. But if you do proper practice and if you are able to purify your mind, develop discrimination, dispassion, concentration, then this very relative plane gives an indication of the absolute to you. How they are related? Absolute, relative and appearance. How they are related? You tell others also, let them hear what you are telling, how much you have understood.
They say when we wake up
Hmm.
from a dream, the dream is unreal. When you reach Brahman, you will see the world is unreal.
That is true. But what I have told, which indicates what? The appearance indicates, appearance is dream. Dream is indicating the relative state. And the relative practices, if they are proper and perfect, you will get the indication of absolute.
You will get the
Indication
indication.
of the absolute. So, it is indication. That does not mean whatever we see in the dream, if we see in the waking state, that becomes real. It is only indicating. Then, if we see our own chosen deity in the dream, we feel very happy. But that is also only an indication that your practices are correct. This much it indicates that you are, what all you are practicing in the relative plane, you are treading the proper path. This much it indicates. Huh? That does not mean since you have seen your chosen deity in the dream, you have realized. It cannot be. That is, it just indicates something, that you are progressing in your spiritual life. That's all. So, in waking, deeply impressed by seeing some of the objects, though they are unreal, we see them in the dream, and the dream objects also are unreal. One does not see them when he awakes. When he is awake. So, morning, Paramanji has given us a sloka, and Shambhudevanji asked the meaning. So, we got it.
Medhananda has conveniently pushed it on Guruji, on teacher.
But you have found it. Tirthe tirthe nirmalam brahma vrindam vrinde vrinde tattvachintanuvadaha vade vade jayate tattvabodho bodhe bodhe basate chandrachodaha. This is the sloka. It says, in the pilgrim centers, tirthe tirthe, there are the upper caste brahmanas with pure mind, nirmalam brahma vrindaha. Then vrinde vrinde tattva chintanuvadha. These men of purified mind, staying in the pilgrim centers, what they do? They discuss about Vedanta. Tattva is or Brahman, Brahma Vichar, they do. Then the third stanza comes, what I told morning, Vade Vade Jayate Tattva Bodho. So while discussing one another, we know the knowledge, Tattva Bodha, that is what is proper, what is correct, what is actually true, that we decide by discussion and vada. And wherever these discussions are there Shivaji stays, Chandrachudaha. Shivaji? Huh? Shiva, Lord Shiva stays there. Previously also I told you, Lord Shiva is such a deity. All are called gods. He is called Mahadev. Whatever you want, simply grants. So in the beginning when I went in 79, 80, 81, 3 years over. No grammar entering. Then I told that Tirji Maharaj was telling me grammar. He told me one thing. Ganges is flowing. Daily bring Ganges water and pour on Shiva. You will learn grammar, he says. See? So, even now, when I am in Rishikesh, but I don't go and bring like olden days, 30, 40 years back, somebody brings Ganges water, but I take and even today, because that was told by Mahapurusha. And morning or yesterday I was telling about the lawyer who showed a dream to my mother, and I asked her something. So, for my clarification, that is in 1976, he told, you chant Lalita Sahasranama. That's what he told. So even today, I chant once. That is because I am having the belief, that is, it was given by order. So here, wherever the discussions of Vedanta are going on, there Lord Shiva stays. So there should be a temple in Bahamas, Shivananda Yoga retreat, a temple for Lord Shiva. And another thing, when we say, wherever Ramayana is going on, there we hear Hanuman stays. Hanuman stays. So wherever Vedanta is discussed, there Lord Shiva stays. What happened in India? The same Lord Shiva took the incarnation of Shankaracharya and established 4 ashrams. But after few days, say after 1,000 years, what happened? The Vedanta was taught only to one disciple in the ashrams. They select one disciple from the childhood. They see the astrology, they see all the bodily indications. Then they start teaching him, then they give him training, and they make the next pontiff. So, Lord Shiva, he wanted to hear the Vedanta. What he will do? So he got hold of our first pontiff, Dhanrajagiri. How the Kailas ashram started? He caught hold of whom? Dhanrajagiri, under whom Swami Vivekananda and Medhananda also had some lessons. So he appeared in his dream and told, you see, my temple is falling down because of the flow of the Ganges. You bring and keep here. He says, no, I don't want. He says, you be there. I am a sannyasi going to Kshetra for bringing my alms for food. And who will take care of you? Stay there where you are. I don't want to bring. So, when he appeared third time, the dream was continuing. Third time. Then he told, I don't expect anything from you. You just keep wherever you like. I will stay happily. Only pour some Ganges water on me. That is sufficient for me. That is the food. But then why you are coming? He says, I want to hear your Vedanta. That's why I am coming to you. I don't want anything. So that is why even today, after say 137 years, only because we are having the record, previous record for only 137 years. Even before that, Dhanrajagiri Maharaj was there. So, what the main pontiff, what is his duty? Even if somebody sits there in the ashram, in the class, or nobody is there, he has to teach 2 hours Vedanta. Who is the main listener? Lord Shiva.
This is why it is called Kailasa?
Kailasa, it is, you see, actually, it is name of Dhanrajagiri. How they explained, I forgot. Because the disciples, in those days, more than 250 to 300 Swamis, they used to hear Vedanta. And they told, because in the beginning, it was just by the sides of Ganges. They just, put some mud, this thing, and on that top he has put the Shivji and he was pouring. And that was, half of the ashram was washed off because of the floods of the Ganges. Then he brought it and just kept on a small hillock, which is just opposite. And then all the disciples requested, you see, we are staying in thatched huts. That is also not complete. Rain also is coming inside. This sun rays also are coming. Cold also is coming. But we are not worried about that. That our books should be taken care of. And you are also staying like that, just staying outside, under the sky. So, better you construct a room so that you can also stay and we can keep our books. It was started like that. So, in those days, I already told, 100 Swamis were ready. Ready in the sense, they are so much well versed in the Prasthanatri or Vedanta, they can teach. So everyone was individually asked after the passing of Dhanrajagiri to become the Pandit. Nobody was willing. Hundreds. Then they told, what they cut out of, then they discriminated who is more old and who is more austere, more pure. So they got hold of one Janardhan Giri. No, you should accept, and they have kept him. So even for today, that is the, whoever becomes the pontiff, he has to take 2 hours lesson. That somebody there, that nobody may not be there, but he has to come and teach. So in this way,
The land was gifted by the king. The whole land of Kailas Ashram is gifted, and we have a written document of it. It was not purchased ever. Yeah.
so what I mean to say, if Vedanta discussions are going on, there Lord Shiva stays. But when you go to sadhana, the book written by Swami Sivananda ji, page 355. There he writes, what he writes? There he writes, this Vedanta, dry Vedanta is not at all useful. By this you are not going to realize. Until and unless your heart is pure. Only one class he gave. If your heart is not pure, simply talking and teaching Vedanta is like the frog's sound, he says. But the original frogs, they make sound only in rainy season. But these frogs of Vedanta, all through the year they will be making sound. So, as Swami Sivanji says, you have to undertake the work or actions in a proper method, and first purify your heart, then go to Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. That's what actually he wanted to say. That he is not telling, don't read Vedanta, from tomorrow onwards you need not go to come to class. Not like that. Purify your heart, purify your mind, then hear Vedanta, it helps. Otherwise, you have to work hard. The Karma Yoga.
Swami's words, Swami Shivananda Pujya Gurudev's words are from Upanishad and Vedas, you see. There is a mantra which says, Achara Hinam na punanti Vedana. That the person who doesn't have the character, even Vedas cannot purify him. So this is what Swami. In
But
Katholism also comes, Na virato duscharita. So as long as you are not away from all your bad deeds and all.
But he puts very...
It should prick, Swamiji, the person who is reading, he should prick.
Same thing, of course, evening I am going to tell. Lord Krishna says, 6th chapter, 3rd stanza. Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate arudhasya tasyeva samak karanam uchyate. If you are not controlled the senses and the mind, you have to undertake the karma yoga. But if they are controlled, then controlling the senses, you can arudhasya tasyeva samak karanam uchyate. That when your mind is purified, it becomes your complete duty to control the mind and senses. Though this is something about vade vade jayate tattvabodha. Now, what you say, the dreams and waking are having effect and cause, that is also not correct. What the opponent said, if waking state is the cause for the dream, then he says, dreams also may be the cause for waking. For that he is giving the answer. He says, that is also not correct, because the dreams are not controlled. Dreams are not controlled. Not controlled in the sense, only when you are having a deep impression of a particular object, then only you see a dream. Otherwise you don't see the dream. And in the dream, you see all the mixing of the impressions. That is why you cannot tell the dream is the cause for waking. It is constantly changing. Almost the dream is controlled by the waking. So we can tell waking is the cause for the dream, but not vice versa. If you say waking is real, so dream also is real. Eh? See how he puts the question. When you are telling, presupposing that waking is real, so we say dream also is real. That it is also, it is not correct. That is, therefore, the waking state is said to be the cause of dream, but it does not mean that waking state is real. Again he says, in reality, nothing can be said to have any causal relation. No cause, no effect. Causal relationship in any way whatsoever. How? Then the question comes, how? Now you have to hear little carefully. He puts the words in such a way, if you don't hear properly, you will lose the meaning. From a non-existing thing, a non-existing cannot come out. From a non-existing, an existing cannot come out. From an existing thing cannot come out. From an existing thing, a non-existing cannot come out. See? So existing, non-existing. Sat, asat. Then he says, who says that from a non-existing thing and a non-existing thing is coming? He says, Sunyavadi. That is, the followers of Buddha, who says void everything. He says, from a non-existing cause, a non-existing effect will be there. Who says? Followers of void. Then, from a non-existing cause, an existing effect is there. Who says? He says, he also says Sunyavadi. He is also. And now from an existing cause, an existing effect is there, is told by Sankhya. That is also not correct. And for the first thing, what is the example? He says, from a sky flower, the horn of hair cannot come out. Horn of a hair. That is, the cause is unreal and effect also is unreal. And then, from a non-existing cause, existing effect also will not come. That also Sunyavadi says. From a non-existing thing, an existing thing like a pot will not come out. Refuted. Then, what Sankhya says, from an existing cause, an existing effect will be there. That also refuted. From an existing part, another part cannot come out. You also can go home and sleep, Sankhya. Then, from an existing cause, a non-existing effect will not be there. That is, it is, though he is, you can say, Vedanti, but he is accepting only little, Ekadeshi. What he says, from an existing cause, a unreal, non-existing effect is there. But he says, that is also not correct. Then, he puts a question, how from an existing cause, non-existing effect will be there? You are telling cause is existing. Effect also should exist. That means, if you say from Brahman, the world is created, because that is real, this also should be real. According to your theory, that is not there. So the four types of these things now he is explaining. In reality, nothing can be said to have any causal relationship. So no cause, no effect. That is telling. How? That is telling. Nasti asadheduka sat asadhetukam tatha satcha sadhetukam nasti sadhetukam asat kutaha. There is no non-existent that serves as the cause of a non-existent. In the same way, as the existent does not serve as the cause of non-existent, there is no real entity that serves as the cause of another real entity. There is no real entity that serves as the cause of another real entity. How can the unreal be the product of the real? If the cause is real, effect also must be real. So, some Vedantis are there. They call themselves Vedanti, pseudo-Vedanti. That also he will tell in the next stanza. So he says, these things cannot be there. Why you are telling so much? What is the result? No cause, no effect. Then what is proved? Ajatavad, bas. Nothing is created, no cause, no effect. Then it is illusion, it is imaginary, it is only appearance. You accept, you don't accept, that is left to you. There is no unreal thing that is the cause of another unreal thing. That is to say, an unreal thing such as horn of a hair does not exist as the cause of a non-existing thing, like the sky flower. So from this sky flower, you cannot accept a horn of a hair. Similarly, an existing thing such as a jar too cannot be the product of a unreal thing such as a hair sword. That is, the cause is unreal, from the unreal, real thing cannot be produced. Also an existing thing, such as a jar, cannot be the product of another existing thing. A jar, for instance. From a jar, another jar is not produced. How can the unreal be the product of the real? How can be the unreal be the effect of the real cause? That is the question put to the opponent. Why? When he said, in reality nothing can be said to have any causal relationship. That he is showing. How can the unreal be the product of the real? Neither does there exist any other relationship of causality, nor is it possible to imagine so. No cause, no effect. All the things that we speak as the cause and the effect of the creation, only in the relative plane. And that, in one word, he refutes all the relative plane for undiscriminating aspirants. Bas. Simply says. Hence, the sense implied is that to those discriminating men, causal relationship of anything whatsoever is ever unestablished. The followers of void, they say, from the void that there is a real thing. That is not correct. That cannot be. And what Sankhya says, that from a real existing cause, a real existing effect will be there. That is also not correct. He simply said, a part cannot come out of a part. Refuted. And the pseudo-Vedantin says that Brahman is real, but the effect, that is unreal. That is the world. Then he asked, how can the unreal be the product of the real? If it is an effect and cause relationship is there, from a real thing only should come out. If cause is real, effect also must be real.
But you just said that from an existing thing cannot come out.
That only again I am telling. From an existing cause, an existing effect will not be there. Existence in the relative plane. From a part, another part cannot come. But then he says that from Brahman, this whole world is created. Then he says, you are a pseudo-Vedanti, you are not a full Vedanti. Somehow, you have to prove the cause and effect because it is very famous in relative world. The opponent is asking, the day-to-day life we are seeing cause and effect. And now you are telling there is no cause and effect. Somehow or other you have to accept it. That opponent is telling to the proponent. Then he says, the cause and effect are undefinable. He told, which is the beginning, which is the end. cause is first or effect is first. If you say it is real, you should tell me. He cannot tell. Huh? It is a cycle. How can he tell? Then he told, like the seed and fruit, that also you cannot explain. That's why, through logic, since we have refuted, there is no cause and effect. Then, everybody sees only the world, nobody is seeing Brahman. What is your explanation for that? Then he says that is their own ignorance. They imagine. They imagine so. For that, the scripture and myself are not responsible. He says. The cause and effect are undefinable. It is only an appearance. It is not logical. That is well known, cannot be refuted. It is logical, it cannot be refuted. So, he says, let there be for cause and effect some other relationship. Because it is famous in the relative world, the cause and effect. If the relationship is not there as the cause and effect, you tell me some other relationship, some other way. For this, he says, if you say the effect is real, then you should be able to see, you should be able to take it. If you say it is unreal, just like a horn of a hare, you cannot see. So, we say it is undefinable. When you see silver on the mother pearl, it is undefinable. You are seeing and telling it is not there. So he says, if it is real, it should not be refuted, it should not be negated. If it is unreal, you cannot, you should not see. You see and you negate. Punarapi, once again, in order to remove the doubt regarding the causal relationship between the waking and dream states that are unreal, it is said. He says, both the states, cause and effect, are unreal. I have to go to bathroom. 2 minutes. Page 498, 41. Viparyasad yatha jagrat achintyan bhutavat sprishet tatha swapne viparyasad dharmas tatraiva pashyati. Just as one, for want of discrimination, takes unthinkable objects in the waking states as real, so too in dream one sees things in that state alone for want of discrimination. Because of want of discrimination, he says, you are seeing the things as real. Just as someone, owing to lack of discrimination, takes as real in the waking state such unthinkable objects as snake on the rope, feeling as though one has touched it, things one cannot possibly think at all to be real. So too, in dream, for want of discrimination, one imagines as though seeing objects such as an elephant, meaning one sees them in dream alone and not as those springing up from the waking state. He sees those things in the dream only. He says, why they see? Simply he says, lack of discrimination. That's why Lord Shankaracharya says, when the disciple asks, how can I get rid of this world? Worldliness. Then vichara, discrimination. Simply gives one word. That I think it is the very first sloka of the Prashnottari. Prashnottari, 32 slokas are there. The whole Vedanta is put in a nutshell. It is everything because lack of discrimination. The dream and waking state, truly speaking, are not there. For them the cause and effect is due to ignorance, simply said. Given the meaning of the sloka, just as one for want of discrimination takes unthinkable objects in the waking state as real. Then he says, Punarapi. Ye kahan hai Punarapi? Once again, in order to remove the doubt regarding the causal relationship between the waking and dream states that are unreal, it is said, Punarapi. This here, in the commentary, a word has come, kaschit. Rajju sarpadin bhutavat paramarthavas prushanniva vikalpyate vikalpayed ityartha kasthidyatha. One word has come, kaschit, somebody. So that is going to explain. This word is connected to the previous verb, viparyasat, because of the ignorance he is seeing. Kaschit, who is? That who is not having discrimination. After telling the illustration, now he is going to explain what is to be explained through the illustration, that is this Drishtanta and Drashtanta. Swapne viparyasat hastyadin dharman pashyaniva vikalpayati. What you see in the waking, that you are not seeing in the dream. When you see an elephant in the dream, it is not real. Tatraiva pashyati natu jagaritat utpadyamana nityartha. He sees only in the dream, but he never sees that it has come from the waking state. So too in dream, for want of discrimination, one imagines as though seeing objects such as an elephant, meaning one sees them in dream alone and not as those springing up from the waking state. He sees them only in the dream. Otherwise, when you see an elephant, your room is not so big to hold an elephant. How can you see it there? But you see, and that's why he says it is unreal. Only in the dream he sees. Now again he is putting a question. From the absolute point of view, the cause and effect are not famous. But, as I told you in the morning, why Lord Vyasa has written this sutra, Janmadhyasya, telling that the whole world is the effect and the cause, though we cannot see, we can infer, that is Brahman. Why he has written? And you say it is not famous? A famous writer is writing. How can you deny it? how he concludes the cause, how he concludes the cause of the world as Brahman. Vyasa is concluding that the cause of the world is Brahman. Then he is telling the Karika, Upalambha samacharat asti vastutvadinam jatistu deshita budhair ajates trasatam sada. For those who from their own experience and right conduct, he says, here two words he is using. Upalambhat samacharat. Upalambha, that is, here he says, experience, because they see the object of the world. That is Upalambhat. And Samacharat, whatever is written in the Vedas, all the rites they are following. Samacharat. For those who from their own experience and right conduct believe in the existence of substantiality, substance, that is the word, who are ever afraid of the birthless instructions regarding the birth, has been imparted by the wise. It says, Jatistu deshita budhair ajates tasatam sada. That is, the followers of rites, samachara, and they see the objects. Why? They are afraid of death. That I will not be there if I get realization. Or if the world is not there, I will not be there. That's why he says, who are ever afraid of the birthless instruction regarding birth has been imparted by the wise. The wise says, the discriminating person says, no birth. But they are afraid of that. Oh, if I am not there, I will die. That's why what they say, previously we had, what? A pseudo-Vedanti. This is a pseudo-Vedanti. He says, Brahman is real and it is the cause. From this world has come, but this is not real. But to again go to Brahman, we have to follow all these rites, because we are seeing, then only we will be realizing Brahman, like that. Even this particular argument that Lord Shankaracharya refutes in Gita also. Mostly I think in the 18th chapter or so, he refutes. Those who think like this, they are not correct, simply says there. So, for those aspirants who, for reasons of their perception and right conduct, they say perception and right conduct, right observance of the principles enjoined on the institution of the caste and stage of life, varnashrama dharma, they want to follow, as told by the Vedas. That is to say, for those two reasons, perception and right observation, assert the existence of substantiality. They assert the existence of the unreal world. For the benefit of those who are firm in their vows, who are endowed with faith, and whose power of discrimination is rather dull. See, he will not leave him, he will leave them. Simply says, they are not having proper discrimination, dull. Instruction regarding the birth referred to above has been imparted by the wise, like Vyasa. Because They are mediocre and dull-witted persons. For them, mediocres. By the non-dualist, by way of means for the development of discrimination. For them, they have to develop discrimination. For that it has been given the instruction, let them grasp this. For the present, as they advance in practice of Vedanta, there will be in due course the rise of discrimination pertaining to the self that is unborn and non-dual. So finally, they will understand that Brahman is non-dual, it is not taken but. But it is not important from the point of view of supreme reality. This instruction is not given from the standpoint of the supreme reality. Those non-discriminating men, though versed in Veda, owing to the grossness of their intellect. Why? What he says? Owing to the grossness of their intellect, are ever afraid of the birthless entity, being influenced by the thought that it will lead to their own ruin. This is the meaning. It was said already. Creation is just a means to reveal the idea of identity. Upayaso avataraya nasti veda kathanchana. Page 418 in your book. The page 418, second stanza. Upayastu sovatara nasti veda katanchana. That is third portion, 15th Karika. In that, he says, all this creation is given, but for creation is just a means to reveal the idea of identity. This is means. Now sub-commentary. In duality, the objects are there. In duality, not in non-duality. Accepting the cause and effect, the creation of the world is told by the non-dualist. Accepting the cause and effect, the creation of the world is told by the non-dualist for dull, discriminating people. For whom? Not for each and everybody. For development of discrimination. How is the teaching? Then he says, from the Brahman, whole world is created. Besides Brahman, nothing is there like the universe. So, Brahman alone is there. That is determined. If you contemplate on Vedanta, taking the support of the Upakrama, Upasamhara, Abhyasa, etc., and if you practice, and because of the practice, you will understand the changeless Brahman, which is non-dual. In this way, your discrimination becomes stable. Because in the beginning you are not having so much of discrimination, you are afraid. When we say like this, that only one Brahman is there, then your discrimination becomes stable. Thinking so, the non-dualist has described the birth of creation, but not for duality, not to prove duality. By Sriti Neha Nanasti Kinchana, he says nothing is here. And through logic, you cannot explain the absolute Brahman. Why they are taking the support of cause and effect? Because nobody can explain the absolute Brahman. So they have taught like this. But from the absolute state, it is not born. Upayaso avataraya. For those who for fear of unborn and also owing to their perception of duality, deviate from the right path. The evil springing up from acceptance of birth, creation, does not accrue. The evil effect, if there be any, will be but little. Though they have deviated from the absolute one Brahman, their mistake is not much. That is it. Ajate strasatam tesham upalambhad viyantiye. Viyanti viruddham yanti. They go astray. Jati dosha nasetyanti doshopi alpo bhavishyati. It says, if they have accepted the creation of the world, and as a non-dualist you are telling it is not there, but for them you say, for non-discriminating persons, you have described it is there. Then again you are telling they are having some mistake. See, you have told something to somebody. Because you are not having complete discrimination, we are telling you about the creation of the world, so that you can follow and realize. But at the same time, telling that creation is there for you, and that you will be having some bad also. Bad. That is, acceptance of the but does not accrue. The evil effect, if there be any, will be but little. Why there should be evil effect when you say? You are telling it is non-discriminating. All right, they are non-discriminating persons. They do accept the world. For them you are again teaching that world is there. And again you say, they are having some evil effect. Why? He says, see, I am telling because the duality is blamed by the Shruti itself. Udaram antaram gurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. He is having fear that we will be ruined. Where from it has come? Because of the duality. And that duality, Shruti itself says, which they are accepting. They are accepting the Shruti, but not the Jnana Kanda. Upasana Kanda, Karma Kanda, they are accepting. And what they are accepting, what they are doing, it is quite correct. But still, afterwards he says, they will never get the absolute realization because they are seeing the duality. Because they are seeing the duality that he is going to tell. Buddharamantram gurute tatasya bhayam bhavati. So, the commentary we will do tomorrow.